Good morning, everybody. All protocols observed. My name is Coach Wanjiru Mwangi. I learned how to say that and own that proudly. And I'm honored to be speaking on behalf of my cohort, CBM Cohort 2, amazing group of leaders. I'm a leadership trainer, a life and leadership coach. I'm a HR strategist, passionate about helping people and organizations thrive. And I believe when leaders grow in self-awareness, clarity, and courage, they transform not only workplaces and community, they transform not only workplaces, but lives and communities as well. So I joined Coach Business Masterclass, CBM, because a dear friend and sister insisted that that's just what I needed for the season. So you see, I did my coach certification in 2016. I was among the very first cohorts to do coach certification at CDI. But I found myself in transition sometime last year, and a friend and sister told me this is exactly what you need even as you figure out what to do during this transition. So I knew I had the experience. I have been a leadership trainer, a people leader for the last 18 years. So I knew I had what it takes. I had the instinct, I had for people, but what I needed was clarity on how to translate that into something more intentional, meaningful, and sustainable. I remember telling my cohort mates, very honestly, I want to have major impact, and we'll at it make lots of money. And we would laugh about it all the time, because it's one thing to be trained as a coach. It's another thing to make it a business. But beneath the humor, all of us had the real desire to build something that was worth, something that was purposeful, and something that was valuable. So I needed clarity on how to show up, not just as someone who supports others informally, but as someone willing to fully own the calling to coach, facilitate transformation, and hold space for people intentionally. So I have spent years working with people, shaping culture, building leaders, and supporting teams through change, but this time needed to be different. I wanted to be more deliberate about impact that I wanted to create and the kind of leader and coach I wanted to become. And that's what brought me back to CDI after very, very many years. And I am so happy that I actually came back to do CBM. Thank you very much, Eileen. I know many of my cohort came carrying similar questions because we bonded and we became friends, and we have, to date, very open conversations. And we were asking ourselves about purpose. What is our purpose as coaches? Questions about reinvention, questions about impact. Which world are we called to impact? And questions about courage. We have so many people who are trained as coaches today, but very few people who have the courage to call themselves coaches. And questions about whether we were ready for what was next. Did we even know the world that we were called to serve? So what I didn't expect was how much the journey would work on me personally, even as it was sharpening me professionally. So professionally, the program gave me structure. It sharpened my thinking and helped me articulate my work with greater clarity. What do I do? What world am I called to serve? What kind of a coach am I? So that has given me a lot of confidence. And since then, which was just last year, early this year, I have gone on to launch my first leadership and empowerment platform called Rooted and Rising, an intentional space. Yeah, that's for clapping. It's an intentional space that brings women together for honest conversations around leadership, growth, transition, purpose, and impact. I would never have been able to do this without CBM. So, but beyond the work itself, something deeper has shifted in me and in my cohort mates. This journey required us to confront ourselves, to confront spaces that we were holding ourselves back. Places where we still doubted. We are certified coaches, we have the experience, but we didn't think we had what it takes to step out and make an impact. So places where we shrank our voices and we almost whispered that we are coaches. I remember being challenged one day, "You're a coach, why don't you introduce yourself as a coach? You're trained, you do this. So why don't you say you're Coach Wanjiru?" So we had to confront those spaces and question whether we truly were ready to step up and own the world that we were called to, and whether we even knew which world we were called to support. And I think many of us in our cohort experienced that in one way or another. Because coaching, as we all know, has a way of first, you hold a mirror to yourself before it ever allows you to effectively hold space for anyone else. So this program reminded me and my cohort mates that coaching is not having about all the answers like they have said. It's about deep listening. It's about asking questions, asking better questions. It's not only about asking better questions, but it's about creating spaces where truth can emerge safely and honestly. And perhaps, maybe truly one of the biggest lessons for me has been that true transformation always begins with self-awareness. I knew I was a coach. I have been a coach for many years, but I needed to dig deeper to figure out what kind of a coach, which world am I called to? And Helen always kept reminding us, which world are you called to serve? Which is your world? We're like, okay, we are coaches. So true transformation always begins with self. It begins with honesty, with humility, and allowing yourself to unlearn and learn new things, and willing to release what no longer serves you so you can step into what does serve you for the next journey. So this journey stretched us, challenged us. We would leave class sometimes and we were like, wow, do we really know what we are doing? And it grounded us and affirmed us and reminded us that growth is very uncomfortable, deeply personal, and sometimes, actually all the time, is very disruptive. But it's also beautiful and necessary. And that has been one of the greatest gifts that we have gotten from this experience. So my commitment moving forward is to show up fully, to use coaching not simply as a profession, but a tool, but a way to create meaningful impact in the lives and spaces I'm called to serve. To help people feel seen, to help people feel heard, to help people connect with possibility, courage, and clarity. I am committed to equipping and building something honest, grounded, and deeply rooted, something transformational. And I am equally committed to continuing to do the work on myself to keep growing. Because you can't take people where you're not willing to go. So you can't be telling people they need to grow, they need to invest in themselves, if you're not willing to do that yourself. So Aileen has continually and keeps reminding us that each of us has a world assigned to them. So even the ones who are doing the level 1, level 2, you have a world assigned to you, a people, a space, a conversation, a transformation that we are uniquely called to steward. Not all of us are called to do the same work, the same audience, or even the same coaching spaces. Each of us carries different stories, experiences, gifts, and burdens, and those are the very things that shape the people we are most equipped to serve with the authenticity and impact. So as I graduate alongside my amazing, amazing cohort members, we carry deep gratitude for the learning, for the stretching, for the conversations, for the friendships, and the laughter, the vulnerability. It was a very vulnerable space. And courage, it took for many of us to show up authentically and say we actually do not know, and to learn, be opening to learn. To CDI-Africa faculty, thank you for stewarding the journey so intentionally and with so much love. To our incredible facilitator, Coach Aileen, thank you for challenging us, affirming us, and reminding us to trust both the process and ourselves over and over again. And to my cohort members, you know yourselves, thank you so much for making this journey so rich, safe, honest, and deeply human. As we step into what next, may we all have the courage to show up fully, trust our voice, and honor the work we are called to do. Because the world assigned to each and every one of us is waiting. Thank you very much.